Hi, I'm DeDe. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll do some seated exercises where the focus will be on building range of motion from smaller to larger, and sometimes back to smaller again. This will help us improve our stability and our balance. And toward the end, we'll limber and stretch to help us increase our flexibility. Here's what you will need: a sturdy armless chair, athletic shoes, some water for hydration, and plenty of room around your chair. Don't forget, always perform the moves at your own pace. So if something doesn't feel right to you, you can skip it, or you can take one of the modifications that I'll give you. All right, let's come down to sitting on our sturdy armless chair. Sit away from the back of the chair, so we have to use our own postural muscles to hold us upright. Your feet are even and straight, your knees are over your ankles, you're sitting straight up with ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Now let's tap right, left. Holding on to the chair at first, but then if you don't feel like you need to, you can take your hands on your lap. So don't lift your toes up too high yet, just a little lift. So exploring different ranges of motion. Usually, as the range of motion gets bigger, the intensity also goes up. So you'll experience that for yourself. Let's lift the toes a little higher now. A little higher up with the heels still on the floor. I'm glad you're here with me. I'm glad you're moving your body. You should be glad too. Start to feel what's happening in the front of your ankles, the tops of your feet, and into your shins. In fact, if you put your hand here alongside your shin bone, you can feel the muscles contracting from that big lift up with our toes. Now both heels up and down, up and down. Now remember, your knees are right over your ankles. If your feet are too far forward, it's not that easy to come up on your tiptoes. So see if you can lift your heels a little higher now. A little higher. You're still sitting up straight and tall. Just a reminder not to hold your breath at any point. All right, now we'll alternate our heels, right and left. It goes right, left, right, left. Now if you're not holding on to the chair, you can start to add your opposite arm forward. Now sets of 3. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. You can make the arms a little bigger, so your arm comes up a little higher. And then we'll make it smaller again. Not as high with the heels, and not as high up with the arm. And then both heels come down, hands on your hips. Now we'll lean on one hip, we'll lean forward, and then we'll lean on the other hip, and we'll lean back, and then reverse it. Now as you do this, you're not changing the shape of your spine. Your spine stays long, straight, and neutral. Reverse. Reverse. And one more time. back to the center. Equal weight on both hips. Inhale, arms go back. Exhale, arms cross. Notice which one is on top, because this time the other one will be on top. Inhale, exhale. Now as you do this, try to keep your chest lifted and your shoulders down, away from your ears. Really open through your chest. Really take your arms behind you. And if you need to have your elbows bent when you do that, then make sure you keep your elbows bent. Now we'll make it even bigger. Really bring the arms back, and then cross over, and bring the arms back. One arm a little higher than the other, and then reverse. A little higher. Let's look up at the higher arm. That one crosses on top. Now remember, if you're holding onto the chair, you can hold with one hand and still do this higher arm. We have 4 more. Can you make it bigger? So in an effort to make a range of motion bigger, make sure that you're not taking yourself into a painful range of motion. We don't want to do that. Only a comfortable range of motion. All right, hand on the chair. Inhale, exhale over. Now switch. Still have both hips heavy on the seat of the chair. Now we're going to make it a little bit bigger, but here's what we'll do first. Separate your feet, shoulder width. That gives us better stability for this bigger range of motion. Now if you can, straighten your elbow a little bit more, but if that's uncomfortable, don't worry about that part. Bend your spine to the best of your ability. One more. Now we have some side steps. So we're in the center with our feet, shoulders back and down, right leg goes out. Not too far, out and in. Now left foot, out and in. You can keep holding on to the chair if you want to, but otherwise we'll reach an arm out to the side and the other arm. Can you feel yourself getting more warmed up, a little warmer, your body temperature, a little more breathing? Now let's go a little further. Arm up and out and back in. Now I'm on a hard surface chair seat, and so my pelvis tends to turn because I can slide on my firm chair seat. You might be on a cloth chair, which means sliding back and forth probably doesn't happen, or if it does happen, there's a lot of friction. So you don't have to turn as far as I'm turning if it's not comfortable. Can we keep going with this bigger leg? Can we add both arms if you're not holding on? Up and out and down. Up and out and down. longer, usually the heart rate will come up higher. So you're more than welcome to keep it small if you need to. If you feel like your heart rate is a little too elevated, then that's what you'll do. All right, 4 more big, 2 more. All right, now wide stance. So take your feet out, hands on your legs, sitting up tall. Inhale. A little tip forward as you exhale, just a little bit. Go again. Keep the long, straight shape with your spine. Make sure your feet are out, but they're also a little bit forward so you have good stability. Now start to bow forward a little further. Bend your elbows more. Now, if it makes you feel more comfortable balance-wise, keep your eyes on a stationary point, no matter if you're forward or back. But if you can lean back and look up a little bit, and then look toward the ground. But you're still keeping your neck long and straight. Your chin stays off of your chest. Shoulders away from ears. All right, now we add a twist. So make it smaller. Just a little bit forward and twist. Oh, that feels good. Inhale, the other way. Twist. So besides the rotation, can you feel the stretch through the front of your upper arm and into your shoulder? I can feel that. I hope you can too. Now we'll make this just a little bit bigger and more challenging by adding our arms. So we're still supporting with the left, but we'll reach the right arm toward the ground. Switch. Make sure you're not rounding your back now. What is your range of motion? What's appropriate for you? If you come down too low, you're going to get too much stretch through your inner thigh and hamstring area. Too much rotation, too much hip flexion. You don't want that. Do the right amount for you. We have one more. All right, now we step into our seated lunge. So that means we turn this way. We're at the front edge of the chair. You're on the tiptoes of your back foot. You're flat on this foot. Now we rock the pelvis forward and we rock it back. Take your time. Tuck, forward, release. Let's go the other direction. Holding onto the chair with one or both hands. Now the pelvis tucks and it releases. Rock the pelvis forward, back. One more. Coming back to the center now. Back to where we first started, away from the back of the chair. Legs are somewhat narrow. Take your arms down. Let's roll the shoulders now, right and left. Right, up and around, and left. Up and around, up and around. Now we'll start to make this a little bit bigger. Keep your shoulder down and start to lead with your elbow. So that's more movement through the arm. Let's turn the thumb so it's up. Holding on with one hand if you need to. Otherwise, the other hand can go in your lap. It's getting bigger now, and we're starting to look toward our hand if that doesn't throw you off balance too much. So we use all kinds of parts of our body for balance. We use our eyes to help us balance. We use our inner ear to help us balance. We even use some sensors in our joints to help us balance. And we usually use all three of them all together at the same time. All right, now both shoulders roll up and around, back and down. With the elbows now, up and around, back and down. Straighter arms, up and around, back and down. A little bigger if you can. Up and around, back and down. Back to small, just the shoulders. Now the elbows. Now a little straighter with the elbows. And a little bigger circle. Oh, that feels so nice. Let's go small again. Shoulders. Make sure you let go of the tension. Elbows. Straighter. And bigger. I think we need to do this one more time. Shoulders. You can pattern your breath with this. A little straighter. You can inhale and then exhale. Bigger. All right, hold the chair. Now we'll circle the torso around. Make it small. When you get back, stop, reverse. Stop, reverse. Keep it small. Reverse. Separate your feet a little bit. Start to make it bigger now. Reverse. And again. Separate your feet so they're at least shoulder width distance apart. Now can we try this with our left arm across our chest? Try it. You're still holding on with the right hand. How about if we switch arms? Switch directions. Now, do you think it'll be okay to do both arms? Try it. Try it. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. Hold on with one or both hands. So can you keep this tempo and make it a little bit bigger? Remember, when we're turning, you may want to keep your eyes on a stationary point. Keeping your eyes on a stationary point helps you with your balance, your equilibrium. And if you tend to get a little bit of motion sickness going from something like this, keeping your eyes on a stationary point will help you there as well. How's this feeling? You should feel like your middle is working hard. Now stop in the center, hands on your legs, tip forward. Keep going, keep going. Up. Keep the ears in line with the shoulders. Do it again. Tip forward. Support with your hands. And up. Two more. Keep your breathing going. One more. All right, now let's turn our attention to our legs. Sit all the way up, bring your legs in, hip joint distance apart, heel dig, right and left. Now that's straight ahead. Let's try going out diagonally. Out, in, still flexing your foot, still tapping your heel. Now let's go straight ahead at one or both arms. Forward and down. Forward and down. Then we'll go out to the diagonal, so the arms will also go a little bit out. And then we'll go forward. Maybe a little bigger with the arms. Elbows can be bent if they need to be. Diagonal. Remember, when we have our arms in motion and we're picking up one of our feet, that challenges our balance. Go forward now, even bigger if you can. Up into a V with your arms if you're able. Out to the side, the same V, but it comes from the side. To the front. You can start to look up. Diagonal. Two more. All right, and we'll bring the feet in about hip joint distance apart. Rest your forearms. Tilt forward, hinging from the hip. Stay here. Just a little bit of recovery because we've been working hard for a while. Shoulders away from ears. Now we take the hands on the legs and we hinge back up. Now we're going to be tapping out, and then in, out, in. Then we'll switch legs. Ready? Right leg first. Out, in, out, wait. Now reverse it. In, out, in. Now the other side. Out, in, out. Same pattern, out, in, out, in, out, in. Do you have it? Switch legs. Every 3 we pause. 1, 2, 3. Do it again. Right leg, both arms. Bigger. Right now we're tapping the toe. Next time we'll tap the heel. Bigger arms, tap the heel this time. Out, in, out, and pause. Switch. Heel, heel, toe, heel, toe. Now no arms, let's speed it up. Out, in, out and pause. In, out, in and switch. One arm. Now bigger with the arm. Feel free to bend your elbow more. Feel free to not go this big. How about both arms? Keep bracing through your middle. That means you're not wiggly or wobbly there. You're solid. You're braced. Feel free to breathe through your mouth if you start to feel like you need to. It's okay to do that. That's our body's way of ramping up the intensity with our breathing to match our movement. Try not to override that. This is the last one. All right, heel presses, right, left, right, left. Now back to that heel press marching. And then both heels down. Once again, rest your forearms on your thighs. Tipping forward, neutral spine, that means you're not rounding, and shoulders are relaxing down. All right, we have this wide stance once again, then we're turning to the side, returning to our lunge. And as we sometimes do, once we're really warmed up like we are now, we can think about straightening our back leg a little bit more. Now we're going to inhale, sweep the arm, and then exhale, sweep it toward the back of the chair. So adding a little twist, it ramps up the hip stretch, and it limbers through our midsection, through some of our waist muscles and our low back. Can you go a little bigger? Now, as long as you feel secure on the chair and you don't feel like you need to hold on, what about both arms? Two more. One more time. Now twist toward the back of the chair and stay there. One hand can go on the outside of your front leg, or both hands can go on the back of the chair. Stay here. See if you can straighten even further through your back leg. So even a little bit bigger range of motion back there. And hold and breathe. All right, let's release that. And we'll turn the other way. So you take as much time as it takes to get you there. Get set up here, hold on as much as you need to, and straighten your back leg more if you can. Now inhale, twist, exhale. Start to make it slightly bigger. Now you want to try both arms? Let's see how it goes. Maybe it's not as big, but it's a little more intense. One more, then we hold. Okay, this one we hold, hand on the outside of your knee or all the way to the back of the chair, and then see if you can straighten your back leg more. Enjoy this for a couple of more breaths. All right, and then we're coming back to forward facing. Ankles and knees close together. Take one hand on the chair, take the other arm over, stay here. Both hips are heavy. Try to bend your spine. Feel the stretch in your waist. Now we'll switch. And then we'll come back to the center, slide forward, move your feet forward, your hips are forward, hands in front, straighten one leg and tip forward. And then we're up and we switch. Feel good to stretch after we move. Stretching is so good for us. Mobility is very important. We don't want to lose our mobility. All right, come up, both knees are bent. You're still at the front. Lean forward with your hands going up the back of your chair. Draw the shoulder blades closer to your spine. Breathe into your chest. And then slide back in your chair, move your feet back a little bit, ankle over ankle or ankle over knee. Turn forward, level out your torso, lean to the front if you can. And then we're up and we switch. Make sure you're not leaning to one side or the other. Tip forward. You feel the stretch in your left hip? I sure can. Now both feet come down. Roll your shoulders up and back and down. So, did you do okay with those increases in range of motion? I hope you did. As always, thanks for being here with me, but also thank yourself for being here and showing up just for you. And until next time, be well.